I just made Pop some cowboy candy and I need to process it here in the steam canner. And I've had some people ask me about the steam canner and how it works. So I thought I would just walk you through how to use it as I process Pop's cowboy candy. Anything that you water bath, you can steam can. Things such as pickles, stewed tomatoes, homemade marinara sauce, syrups, and salsa. And while I water bath can a lot, we do that outside because I have a glass top stove. So a water bath canner holds a lot of water and it's very heavy. And you don't want to use that on a glass top stove. So we do that outside on a propane burner. And that's why I love the steam canner, because I can use it inside on my glass top stove because it uses 80% less water than a water bath canner. And that is a time saver because you don't have to wait on all that water to boil. So a steam canner processes things a lot faster for you than a water bath canner. Now this is the anatomy, if you will, of the steam bath canner. At the very top in the handle is a zone temperature gauge, and you want to process your food according to your zone. And as you can see, the zones are based on altitude. Zone 1 is 0 to 3,000 feet. Zone 2 is 3,000 to 6,000 feet. And Zone 3 is 6,000 to 9,000 feet. So that little red temperature gauge that's kind of bouncing around right there, you want that to move all the way over to your processing zone. And when it gets there, you will start the timer to process your food for the necessary time that it requires. The steam canner has a really nice deep dome lid. And in the back, you can see a hole for steam to release so it doesn't build up too much pressure. And you always want this pointed away from you because, as you'll see in a few moments, a lot of hot steam comes out of that and you don't want to get burnt. Here at the bottom is the tray that your jars will go on, and the water will go inside of here. And you can see it's not very deep at all. To get started, you want to make sure you have your tray inside the bottom of the steam canner, and I like to use hot water to fill it up, and the reason is because that way it will heat up faster. So I've already got some water in there, and what you want to do is you just want the water to be level with the opening of like this square and these round circles. It doesn't have to feel over the top of the tray. You just want it level with the openings here. And now that I've got the water in the steam canner, I'm going to start loading in my jars. I've got my jars all loaded in the bottom of the steam canner, and I've already turned on the heat to just about high heat. And now I'm going to put the lid on my steam canner, making sure that that steam release hole is in the back. And now I'm just going to wait for the heat to build up the steam to move that temperature gauge over to my zone. The steam canner is building up steam. I can hear it in there, and I can also tell by the little red temperature indicator that it is moving toward my desired zone. As you can see, the steam canner is building up steam really well. The red indicator is moving closer to my desired zone. But let me show you something. Do you see how the steam canner lid is kind of rocking and bubbling up water out the sides? You don't want it to do that. When it starts doing this, you need to turn down your temperature. This is where my temperature is currently. I'm actually going to back it up to about here. And I'm being careful because, as you can see, steam is coming out the back of this thing already. I've backed off the heat, and as you can see, the lid isn't rocking anymore. It's staying level like it should. Now that I've got the steam canner nice and steady, and the red zone indicator is in my desired zone, and it's staying pretty level here. I've got the place I need it to be marked with a Sharpie. The good thing about the newer models is they have a sliding little gauge that you can slide around. This is an old school, and I've had it probably for at least 5 years, so I have to use a Sharpie mark. But now that it's where I need it to be, I'm going to go ahead and start my timer, and for this particular food item, I need to set it for 10 minutes. All right, the timer for the 10 minutes just went off, so what I'm going to do now is turn off the burner, and leave the steam canner sitting right here for 5 minutes. I'm not going to take the lid off of that steam canner until the 5 minutes is up, because that is part of the processing time when you use a steam canner. Now, my cowboy candy required 10 minutes of processing time, and that is what I did, a full 10 minutes. So this 5 minutes is in addition to that 10 minutes. So I processed for 10 minutes. I turn the burner off. I'm going to leave the steam canner sitting there, not remove the lid, for a full 5 minutes. Once that 5 minutes is up, then we can take off the lid. All right, the 5 minutes is up, and now we can carefully lift this lid. There's still going to be some steam in there, so you kind of want to lift up and point it away from you as you lift it up. And looky there. Now I'm going to get these jars out of here and set them over on this mat so they can cool off and seal. Happy canning, y'all, and may all your lids